I'm just going to wait a couple minutes, and when this loads, then we'll dive into a very quick YouTube live. I haven't done a YouTube live in about 3 weeks, I think. So I want to come on here and do this instead of doing Instagram so that it's up permanently. But today I'm going to just be talking about why you are getting chronic yeast or Candida infections or parasitic infections, even though you do Candida cleanses and diets. It's a really simple thing that a lot of people don't think about. So I'm here to share some analogies with you and just kind of go deep into the body and what it does. So if you have any questions about what I'm saying or sharing, just please comment them down below, and I will try to get back to everyone before I end the video. So the biggest thing to know is that if you are having recurring Candida infections, whether it's yeast infections or like skin rashes, ringworm, any fungal, recurring fungal infections or parasitic infections. So you clear the parasites and then they come back. You clear them and they come back. It's for a reason. So the biggest thing that I see people do over and over again is that they'll do a really good Candida cleanse and then just go back to kind of eating the way they used to eat, or still eating like a lot of sugar and carbs, and then it comes back, and so they just chalk it up to, oh, I ate a lot of carbs and so Candida's back. Well, that's partly true. It's really not that. It's not like the whole picture, I guess. So to share an analogy with you, you always want to work on the terrain of your body. If your body's terrain is perfect, if it's the way it should be, Candida cannot thrive. Neither can parasites or viruses or any type of fungus. The analogy that I want to share with you is a pretty basic one that I share with a lot of my clients. Picture your bathroom. If it's extremely damp, really bad ventilation, lots of dampness in the bathroom, you're probably going to have mold, whether it's in the shower, on the ceiling, or on the walls. If you take a spray bottle with bleach or mildew spray and you spray that mold down, yes, the mold will be gone for the day, but it will come back. Mold will always come back, and then you'll have to spray it again. It goes away, and then it comes back. The only way to truly get rid of the mold for good is to completely dry out the bathroom with a dehumidifier. If necessary, replace the drywall, get proper ventilation in the bathroom. That's how you're going to get rid of the mold for good. And that's how our bodies are as well. If you just clear out the Candida with a Candida cleanse and some supplements, but not fix the actual terrain of the body, Candida is going to come back. So it's impossible for it not to, and so will parasites and any type of fungus or virus. And so what I mean by the terrain of the body, hey, thanks for joining. Thanks so much. I'm so glad. So what I mean by the terrain of the body is acidity levels, good, strong immune system, removing toxicities, heavy metals, major viruses that are present, breaking down scar tissue that's surrounding viruses. There's a lot to go through when you start to kind of rebalance the body. If the body's really out of balance and it's at a place where it's highly inflamed and highly acidic, you have to look at why is it inflamed and acidic, and it's probably to do with the fact that liver and kidney elimination is really poor. So your primary emunctories or elimination pathways are not excreting toxins efficiently, and that's what would lead to acidity in the body or like toxicity, especially heavy metal toxicity. So what you want to do is, yeah, the Candida cleanse is great, the parasite cleanse is great, do it, but you also got to go deeper. Candida and parasites are rarely, actually, from what I know, never the root cause of anything. They happen to be in the body because the body's favorable to them. If you get psoriasis or you have some sort of autoimmune disorder or diabetes or something else, it's to do with something much deeper, a much deeper or bigger imbalance in the body than Candida and parasites. Candida and parasites will come secondary. They appear because the body is diseased, not because they are the root cause. If I'm not making sense, let me know, because I want to make sure I'm making sense. But that's kind of what I'm trying to explain with this whole recurring Candida and parasite condition, is that as long as you're looking at the body as a whole and get to the root cause, just ignore the symptoms, just go to the root cause of everything and rebalance that and rebalance the body, you will clear Candida once and for all, or parasites or fungal overgrowth. If your body's back in balance and you don't have any fungal overgrowth and things like that, and you go to a mall or a public restroom and somehow get a fungus or a virus from somebody else, from a public surface. Your body, if your internal environment is perfect, your body will fight off that virus or fungus like that, and it will not take hold in the body. The only way that Candida and parasites get to take hold in the body is if the body is already weakened and it's favorable. So when you go and eat a really bad diet and then you're stressed and you take antibiotics or some sort of medications that kind of strain the body a little bit, or do something to kind of make your body more inflamed, your body first will, like your liver and kidneys will first start to not eliminate correctly, or your body will become more acidic. Other things will happen first, then Candida and parasites are like, wait, like, I'm losing my train of thought, sorry. Then Candida and parasites will be like, this is a perfect time to take hold and overgrow because the immune system is so weak and it's not going to recognize us. The body is perfect for us. It's nice and damp and acidic and toxic, and so that's when they will thrive. So they're not the root cause. They are on the way to developing the root cause, but they're not the root cause. They're secondary or tertiary. And the way to truly get rid of them is to rebalance the body. And so where do you start? If you want to if you're new to the game and you really just want to start regulating, hold on, I'm just going to check. Okay, good, thanks. So if you're new to this whole detoxification, you're not sure where to start, always the best thing would be to seek out a practitioner. But if that's not an option for right now, the first thing is to get past your symptoms. So say that your symptom is sinus discharge. If you have chronic sinusitis, for example, rather than looking for remedies that are going to improve your sinusitis directly, you got to try to think on your own deeper. How come I have sinusitis? So the first thing is, well, most likely fungal overgrowth. It's usually mold or some sort of fungus that's inoculated your mucous membranes, which is what's causing that histamine and then the runny nose and that inflammation. So that's the first thing. But is that the root cause? A lot of people think it is, but it's not. If you think and sit down and say, well, why do I have fungal overgrowth in my sinuses or in my body? Then look a little bit deeper. What type of environment is favorable to fungus or mold? And it's acidic and damp. And so why would your body be acidic and damp? Well, aside from obviously, bad diet and things like that, there's got to be something that's happening in the body to allow this buildup of acidic toxins. What organ in the body eliminates acidic toxins? The kidneys. Why might the kidneys not be working? Because they're overburdened. And if the kidneys are overburdened, then there's no way you're going to detoxify effectively. Even if you do a Candida cleanse right now, you'll push the toxins out of your cells and your mucous membranes, but they will go into your bloodstream, go to the kidneys. Your kidneys will not be able to eliminate them because they're overwhelmed, and so the toxins will just recirculate. And then you're back to square one. So try to get the kidneys eliminating and working really well. And then whenever you're focusing on kidneys, you always have to do liver support because they're two organs that work together to facilitate the excretion of toxins. And if you're not supporting both, one will become overwhelmed pretty easily. So do your liver and kidney drainage first. You can use that with homeopathics, but if you cannot access homeopathics, you can do herbal remedies. It's better than doing nothing. So you can do the Genestra Live Complex is one of my favorites. There's Omega Alpha liquid liver flush. You can even just do liver and kidney herbal teas. It's better than doing absolutely nothing. And then once you get to a point where you can kind of either get help from a practitioner or carry things on to the next level on your own, then you can move to the next phase. I never recommend doing Candida and parasitic type of cleanses without doing some sort of liver support first. So do the liver and kidney support, whether it's with herbs or homeopathics, and then from there go deeper and deeper. If your condition is something a little bit more serious, if it's not just sinusitis, if it's autoimmune or something else, then make sure that you're going to rebalance that part of the body. So for example, most of my followers here have some sort of autoimmune disorder, so I'm going to talk about that. If you have rheumatoid arthritis, by the way, if you have any questions, just leave them in the comments for those who are joining new, and I will get back to everyone. I will try. If you have rheumatoid arthritis, there's a lot deeper issues that are going on in the body. The biggest thing is there's usually heavy metals, lots of viruses. Epstein-Barr is probably present, and many other viruses, but they are not, again, the cause. They are there because the body is the perfect environment for them to thrive. And so why is the body favoring these viruses? Well, because it's acidic and it's inflamed. And why is it acidic and inflamed? Because there is again, poor kidney function. What your body will do is over the years, if you have not, if you've been really toxic or been exposed to toxins and stress and you have not done any sort of drainage or detoxification, the body will hold on to toxins. And in order to protect itself, if it leaves the toxins in the bloodstream, it'll flow through your vital organs like your heart and your liver and kidneys and literally damage them. So what your body does to protect itself and keep itself alive is it stores the toxins into your joints, into your fat cells. And something that is always present when you have arthritis or joint issues is that there's a lot of uric acid formation happening in the joints and in your tissues, and that's what's causing some of that arthritis and that pain and the inflammation. And so usually heavy metals and uric acids are the primary toxins that are present in the joints. To pull those out, you have to support your kidneys. The only reason they built up in the first place is because your kidneys failed to regulate your body's pH. They failed to excrete the acid. Diet's huge, okay? Diet's what kind of starts things off. It starts, your kidneys, it starts creating, kidney failure, or at least poor kidney function. And stress is huge, and these are all triggers. But at the end of the day, why is your body not working right? And it's just usually kidney and liver. It usually comes back to that poor emunctory elimination. So doing good kidney support is the most important thing you could do for anyone who has any sort of acidic terrain, whether it's skin condition like psoriasis or psoriatic arthritis or rheumatoid arthritis. Any sort of gout is a very acidic person or terrain. To have gout means you have too much acid, so you need a lot of minerals, and you need your kidneys to excrete the acid so that your pH can balance. So once you do the correct work and get your liver and kidneys working correctly and start to work on eliminating heavy metals and do that kind of stuff, the viruses, Candida, parasites are just going to naturally die off on their own. They can't survive in that environment, and so you won't have that recurring infection or overgrowth. Just looking here. So for those of you who don't know, today is the last day at midnight tonight. My Candida and Parasite Cleanse ebook will be off sale. So it's a Cyber Monday sale right now. There's 20% off. I will leave the link in the description of this live once the live is done. And you can just head there and just take advantage of the sale before it's done tonight. And I do share homeopathics in there. So if you're looking for liver and kidney drainage, there is a good remedy in there that I like to use. There's some homeopathic antifungals and things like that I like using. So it comes with a full protocol, printable templates, lots of recipes, all sorts of things. So it's a good resource to have on hand to just kind of start things off on your own, get some drainage happening, some Candida and parasite cleansing happening. So I will leave the link in the description, but it is on my website, holisticspring.com. St. John's wort is great for anxiety, but you still want to get to it's great for depression actually, but you do want to still get to the root cause. If you have anxiety or someone you know has anxiety, you want to look at why anxiety is present. And there's usually adrenal fatigue, so your adrenals are pumping out too much cortisol, causing inflammation, and then they become fatigued, and then your energy production kind of drops, and then you get a hormonal imbalance. So it's usually adrenals, but adrenals aren't the root cause. You got to look at why are the adrenals working overtime, and it's usually from inflammation. And so why is there inflammation? Viruses, Candida, heavy metals, why are those present in the body? Because there's poor elimination. Why is there poor elimination? Because your emunctories aren't working. So once you start going to the root causes, you'll actually find that anxiety has a much deeper root cause. St. John's wort's great to just take in the meantime until you can address the root cause if it's pretty bad anxiety that is hard to manage. How have we gotten to this point where it's this complicated to not be sick? It's true. You know what? We're exposed to over 2,000 different toxic chemicals per day just in the world we live in. Everything from, car fumes and plastics and Vox and everything else. And I tell everyone, literally, you should just be on some sort of liver support for the rest of your life. Not every single day, but on a month-to-month basis or a quarterly basis or something like that, because of all the toxins we're exposed to. Industrialization is great, and I'm happy we have all of this technology, but at the same time, there's a lot of toxicity that comes with it. And it's just good to have some liver support because our bodies are not intended to, have to manage this many toxins. If you think way back to biblical times, people used to live to 2,000 years old or 1,000 years old. They lived a long time, and it's because they didn't have this toxicity that we have today. I have Hashimotos, so I'm experimenting with diets and not taking any meds. Do you recommend a certain diet? Hashimotos is because it's autoimmune, you've got to do anti-inflammatory. I never say it's go like paleo, keto, etc. I don't have a specific diet to follow, but I do say the most important thing you can ever do if you have autoimmune is to avoid nightshades like the plague. So no tomato, potato, pepper, or eggplant. You also want to avoid gluten, dairy, and sugar. Those are the top foods. Once you got to a point where you're avoiding those foods and you're comfortable with it and comfortable trying to eliminate a couple other foods, then you could start going to starchy grains like white rice, and try to avoid grains for a little while. But the most important is gluten, dairy, sugar, and nightshades. Not for the rest of your life. I mean, potentially, depending on how long you've had the autoimmune disorder, you might have to avoid them the rest of your life, but at least until your body regulates a little bit. Those are the top foods and diet to follow. What can I do for protein? So if you have too much protein in your urine, it means your body, it's a lot to do with your kidneys. You're not breaking down your protein. There's a lot of good homeopathic kidney remedies that help balance the protein in the urine, but there's so many and they're specific to the individual, so I can't really legally give recommendations for that. But I like to follow it's called the low nitrogen diet for clients who have that. I think it's called low nitrogen diet. You can Google it, but pretty much you're going to eat foods that are lower in nitrogen. So like your animal proteins are high in nitrogen, so you'd want to cut those out and do more plant-based. But you can Google that, but that's what I would recommend. The liver and kidney, the name of the liver and kidney support. Liver and kidney herbal remedies is Live Complex from Genestra, and the Omega Alpha liver flush. They also have a kidney flush, which you can do as well. Those are the ones that I was mentioning. Sorry, my heater's on and there's like this lint flying around that keeps hitting my nose. Can you take Boulardi with probiotics, and what's your opinion on Boulardi? Yeah, Saccharomyces is great for mold. So if you have Lyme disease or any sort of like condition where you usually have mold overgrowth, sorry guys, my phone, then I do recommend Boulardi. It's great. Checking in late here, thank you for the info. Do you recommend liver cleanse if severe nasal congestion? Yeah, so your primary channels of elimination are liver, kidneys, and lungs. Most of the toxins in a perfectly balanced person should be excreted through urine and stool via liver and kidneys, and then the remainder of the toxins should be exhaled through carbon dioxide and a tiny bit of toxins through sweat through the skin. So your primary channels are liver, kidney, lungs. Your secondary elimination pathways are your skin and your mucous membranes. If you're having excess nasal discharge, vaginal discharge, or sorry, I have an incoming call. It's always at like the worst times. Excess nasal discharge, vaginal discharge, skin breakouts, that means your body's utilizing your secondary pathways because the primary pathways are overburdened. So yes, you want liver support if you have nasal issues because you want to get your primary channels working so that your body doesn't have to utilize the secondary pathways. Hope that makes sense. I have lost a lot of weight going low carb, but nasal and chest congestion remains. So nasal and chest congestion will remain until you get your liver up and running, and again until you clear out the fungal overgrowth, which you can't do, long term if you don't rebalance your body's terrain. So that makes sense. Going low carb, people say that they lose weight, but there's fat actually has more calories than carbs. It's almost double. So it's not that going low carb is making you lose weight, it's that you're not eating the right types of food. So what I recommend doing is load up on the fats, so more nuts, get your calories in with avocados and nuts and coconut and protein, and then you want to do, instead of your carbs, you want to do like buckwheat and quinoa, like more complex carbs to get that in. And then as far as extra calories go, I love doing protein shakes throughout the day, so you can do like a coconut or almond milk or cashew milk, and then put your protein powder of choice and drink that to kind of give you extra calories and protein, and that will help with your weight as well. So it's just kind of like being strategic about how you eat. Usually people lose weight because if you're eating higher carb, you tend to eat like pizza and burgers and things that are just like really high in calories, and then when you stop doing that, your metabolism speeds up. So it's not that the low carb is causing an issue, it's just you got to retrain yourself how to eat the proper amount of calories in the right way. What can I do for acne? Acne is a liver thing, so you got to get your liver working and clean out your colon, and the acne should go away or clear up. Yes, take probiotics and S. boulardii together. That's totally fine. Hey, thanks for joining. Would you recommend dandelion tea? Yes, dandelion tea is great. You can do that for the kidneys and then pair it with a milk thistle or like wild yam type of tea for the liver. So you get good liver and kidney support. I like, it's called liver detox, I believe. Liver detox or everyday detox from traditional medicinals. This is a tea is not powerful enough to do drainage or anything like that. It's not, but it's a good place to start to give your liver a teeny tiny support, like very small support. Herbal teas are not going, like I have a lot of clients who were going to herbalists before who were just literally drinking teas. You don't get much improvement. Teas are too gentle. So you don't want to do just teas and expect to get good improvement, but it's a good starting point to support. So yeah, you can do those together. I'm going to sign off soon. Is this your new lifetime? I'm sorry, guys. I actually don't have a lifetime. It's pretty much when I'm not having consults and when I'm free from the kids is when I pop on here. And it's why I don't give you guys notice. It's hard for me to plan. Sometimes I'll have like a surprise consult if someone needs some help, and I'll just book them in, and then I miss my live. So I just pop on whenever I have a few minutes. It's mainly to have the video up here quickly, and then you guys can always rewatch it if you missed it when I came live. I also don't think, like, usually when I do lives, I do them in the evening, and I seem to get more people watching at that time, I think, because everyone's home from work. So I will try to usually do them evening or night, but this is just the time I happen to have. So I do not have a new specific live time. Okay, last question, and then I'm signing off. Is intermittent fasting okay to do if you have adrenal fatigue? Yes, you can, but if you're a female, you only want to do it every other day, just so you don't throw off your hormones fertility-wise. Women should not do intermittent fasting every single day because it does throw off hormone production, and it can lead to longer cycles or some sort of like cycle irregularities. So just be careful. For men, they can do it every day, but women just every other day, 4 times a week max. But it's great for the adrenals because it gives them a break from having to work so much, especially if you have food sensitivities or blood sugar imbalance. So definitely recommend doing that. Just making sure. All right, thanks everyone so much for joining. I hope that this video kind of explained a little bit about recurring Candida and parasitic infections and what to do to make sure that they're gone for good. I can't give you guys a specific protocol, but if you do check out my Candida and Parasite Cleanse ebook, it's really all-inclusive, and it gives you a good starting point because I include homeopathics in there just to start getting your liver and kidneys working and start a gentle cleanse. But to get it gone for good, you just got to keep in mind your terrain. If it's coming back, it means that there's things in your body that are out of balance and that are favoring the overgrowth because it's a good environment for them to thrive in. So just keep that in mind. I will do more YouTube videos this week, hopefully, and get some more content out for you guys. But hopefully this is like a good video to explain a little bit, because I was getting a lot of questions about why do I keep having to do the Candida cleanse every few months, like why does it keep coming back? And so I just wanted to pop on here and explain why. I will put the link in the description box for my ebook if you want to grab it at 20% off. It ends tonight at midnight. Thank you guys so much for joining the live. I love you, and we'll chat soon. Bye.